Anyway, from criminals to the civil service now. 1 in 6 civil servants have been axed in a war on waste at Whitehall. Health Secretary Steve Barclay has slashed bureaucracy in his department so more money can be directed to frontline services. More than 600 fewer people are currently employed in the Department of Health since last October, mainly attributed to voluntary redundancies, a recruitment freeze and cutting consultants. And a government spending review had asked for a 26% reduction in staff by 2025, but Barclay has hit his target 21 months early. That's the only target he's ever hit, isn't it? Conservative MPs say taxpayers should rejoice. And it comes as the former head of the civil service, Lord Sedwill, says the whole system needs systemic reform, describing it as too metropolitan, too short-term and too preoccupied with internal rivalries. Well, I mean, again, where do you begin with the civil service? It's massive, isn't it? I mean, there's thousands of them. Most of them don't even bother going to the office. Most of them, nobody's really sure what they do.
Yeah.
I don't think they themselves know what they do.
You can't get rid of most of them. I mean, loads of people were hired during COVID, and I think some of them are still there, despite the fact that we haven't really had any COVID complications for probably, I don't know, a couple of years or something. And it seems to me that the whole civil service is riven with, you know, people who are paid too much money, people doing jobs that nobody knows what they are. It's the only place where you can say, look, we've got a project for you. How long do you think it will take? And they go, a couple of years.
It's worth,
you know,
like builders,
yeah,
civil service.
Couple of years,
also,
definitely.
Was,
you know,
it was interesting what I think it was. I think it was Sedwill who said about the fact that they got to get rid of some of the consultants, and you go, why are there even consultants in there?
Exactly.
Well, one of the things that happened, one of the things that happened in COVID was that a lot of these big consultancy companies, like the big accountancy companies, they get hired en masse because they all moved. I know this because I know people that work for them, and they moved into government. And basically they were given multi-million pound contracts to help out the Home Office, to help out local councils. In America, they were helping the Department of Labour in places like Tennessee. Incredible, you'll know, James, because they moved away from the sort of Wall Street businesses they had been dealing with, which are now more or less automated, and they suddenly have gone into government. And once you get them, these are the people getting paid $3,000 a day. And they have
We're in the
30
wrong job,
of them.
you know that.
Clearly.
But this is the point about, we keep hearing that government needs to spend less on things, or alternatively that budgets are so tight. And then we never get the insight and the scrutiny into how they're actually spending the money. There is a huge amount spent on consultants, and it doesn't matter whether it's PR and spin, there's a lot of that, but then there's also management consultants and every kind of process consultant and all this sort of business. And they do cost a fortune. Mike, you're spot on. These people are appointed almost without any kind of scrutiny.
Yep.
But then also, we don't then necessarily look at how the money is being spent. They say, oh, we must spend more on the front line. But then there are layers and layers of bureaucracy. And one computer system doesn't cost another. We've had wasted computer projects. And then suddenly it turns political. You can point the finger at every Tory government and every Labour government and every Lib Dem coalition and say, you wasted our money.
And also, if it's a consultant and they cock up, I mean, who
that's
takes
the wider issue of the civil service. I mean, the consultant thing, they're kind of flown in like they're a pack of ninjas coming in to sort the whole thing out. These sort of messianic characters, we need the consultants. And it's that Peter principle thing that actually when you sit down, knuckle down and work out the qualification of half of these chances, there's nothing there at all.
They just run through the playbook. They just run through the same playbook.
Absolutely right. And then you've got the other issue, of course, with the civil service. And it's a legacy thing that for years everybody has just considered, oh, this is the budget we have for this, and nobody's really questioned it. So even if they trim it by 10% or another 10%, it's still 10 times the amount it would be in a private sector. And then, of course, the third thing is that you've virtually got to commit second-degree murder to lose your job in the civil service. There's no such thing as getting fired.
And the thing is, even though you have, Steve Barclay claims to have reduced a number of people in the civil service by 600 people, or whatever it is that money being funneled to frontline services? Clearly it's not, because the NHS, 600 consultants or civil service ninjas shorter, the NHS is still on its knees, absolutely. We need those ninjas on the front line in hospitals,
but they can't do
saving lives.
Yeah, but they can't
because of their nunchucks.
No, also exactly. They're consultants. Also, nobody knows what the front line is. And also, surely there must be other departments of state which need trimming before you get to the Department of Health.
Well, yeah.
Which might be the one you don't trim. I don't know. But we had a job today advertised for Director of Lived Experience. in an NHS trust in Staffordshire.
Oh,
£125,000.
I've lived a lot. I've lived loads.
Lived
You've lived a
experience.
lot,
Yes.
Penny, actually.
Yeah,
to
I
be
really
honest.
have.
What is that?
You can tell.
And you know, a consultant in the Department of
Well, when you get to the
Mysteries.
once they get
mysteries.
to the, once they get to the NHS, they have a lot of people who've got the death experience.
Well,
you know,
that's
because
true,
They
yeah.
couldn't get the operation they wanted.
Yeah.
And that's another story.